everybody, welcome back to Judging Nerd Culture. I'm Jess.
And I'm Ollie.
How are you doing today? I wasn't talking to you, Ollie. I was talking to our listeners. How are you guys doing today? Also, Ollie, how are you doing today?
You are cruel. And you cause me physical pain. I'm very happy I married you. That's not a joke. I haven't married you.
What do they call it? Not a narcissist. You freak who likes pain.
The word you're looking for is masochist.
There we go. I don't know. It's been a stressful week for me.
I mean, honestly, yeah. It's been a bit of a time. Bundle of people and I are starting a bunch of little projects.
Yeah.
Getting some actual play podcasts got started up. One is a D&D podcast that'll be up on YouTube, and another one we're going to be starting principal recording, if you will.
And you are currently a part of another live stream tabletop game.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays.
I am indeed. It's an Animorphs actual play.
On Twitch?
On Twitch, Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern time?
Yep.
Yeah, it's...
You want to tell people how to find it?
No, because I don't remember the username of the person, but it will be in the description below.
Oh, Lord. You've been doing it for like 3 or 4 weeks now.
It's like Valorant or something like that, but that sounds like a video game, I think. I don't know. It's Val something, and I'm sorry.
You're just bad with names. Hey, you know, it's been a long, stressful week for the both of us, and our brains are wiped. But you know something interesting I learned?
What was that? What'd you learn this week?
That ostriches are polygamous. Polygamous.
Are you talking? No. That's not what you meant.
Varying numbers of females are recorded as forming the harem of a single male, but this may be the result of differences in the availability of females rather than racial differences.
Huh.
Ostriches are
Cool.
poly.
Nice. Good for them. Still very...
So that's a fun little tidbit I learned this week.
Yeah. Still a little too on the patriarchy for me, but I get it. It's fair. And you know what? Representation matters.
I also learned Struthia niformis is the world's largest living bird, and it lays eggs 6 inches long and 5 inches wide.
I can do that.
You can do that?
I can do that.
All right. Well, I'll be expecting it tonight.
Viewers, I hope you're excited. Jess has bought herself a fancy bird book, and bird facts will be aplenty.
I mean, we can make it a thing if you want. We can make it a thing. I can give a bird fact each episode if you really want that.
Baby, I will take bird facts with Jess any day.
I never knew ostriches were poly.
Yeah,
That's fun. Look at them. Progressive birds.
So progressive. In other news, things I heard this week, the German pentathlon...
We're just using really big words this episode. We're trying really hard to come off as smart.
No, pentathlon is not that big a word. It's just hard to say. But yeah, the German pentathlon coach in the Olympics was disqualified and permanently removed from the games for this go of it for punching a horse.
Oh my god.
I didn't read the rest of the article. I didn't care to. I just know...
You don't need to know anything else. That horse must have been talking smack. That must have been a trash-talking horse.
Nay, I disagree.
I did hear Simone Biles, America's golden child in gymnastics, lost.
Oh.
She got... not first.
Oh yeah, because that's...
I think China? Or... oh god. I don't remember who it was. It was an Asian country that beat her.
Yeah.
But a small little bean who won instead of Simone Biles. And then everybody made a big deal of it. Because I think it was like mental health thing. I don't know.
Look, she's won dozen times in the
There are
past.
literal moves named after her.
Yes. So, like, I think she's fine. She can take a year of, I don't want to win this one.
Yeah, I think U.S. won volleyball, I think. I'm not a big Olympics person. The people I work for are, so sometimes I get tidbits. I just don't see the point of the Olympics.
Well, originally it was to provide a way for countries to kind of have like a let's come together and not kill each other, but that never worked out. Plus, the countries
because now it's like I'm better than you, and we're gonna prove it, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely twisted, but whatever.
Yeah.
Politics.
I would, if I was an athlete, like a A+ athlete, I don't think I'd ever want to go to the Olympics. I'd be terrified, because like, well, one, you're on TV and you can't mess up or you look like a fool, and then secondly, a lot of kind of dangerous things happen at the Olympics. Like, there's weird political, cultural things that happen, and like, Olympics have been bombed before. They've been like, people have been killed before. Like, it's
a huge thing. It's one of the largest events that happens all the time in the world. Yeah, that's the thing that happened. On a lighter note, lady gets kicked out for punching a horse.
It was a lady?
Yeah, she
oh my goodness.
She's the coach for the Germans, apparently, and...
Why'd she get... They should have been like, no, you're buff, you're strong, you stay.
I don't know, but she got in trouble for it.
Did they talk to the horse?
Baby?
What'd the horse have to say?
Again,
Did the horse lie, that stupid slut? I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know, I'm just...
Victim blaming the horse.
Don't punch horses. Don't do that, really. But it's just...
I mean, go ahead and do it. They're not going to care. The horse, they'll kill you. What the fuck are you going to do to a horse? They're going to punch it? It'll stomp on your skull. But I don't know. I didn't read the article. I just read the headline and just enough to know who punched what. And yeah, I didn't care anymore after I heard what she did, and that's all I cared about. But other news. Interesting, but potentially very awful news. Apple apparently put out a little public notice that they're trying to put together a program that's automatically like a part of their phones, a system in their upcoming phones that will automatically scan your phone for inappropriate pictures of minors, essentially.
Okay.
And then report that to the authorities.
Mm-hmm.
And on one hand, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what they're trying to do.
On the other hand, even half a step to the left, and that's a horrifying invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
Like,
also, all these teens out here gonna be sending each other nudies. Like,
constant. Like,
we're gonna put all the teenagers in the world in jail?
The largest provider of underage pornography is 16-year-old kids fucking sexting each other.
Yeah.
So, like, that's not going to be great.
Like, oh, boy.
Like, I am super down for if someone has some child porno to put them behind bars. But I don't think this is it. I don't think this is the way forward.
No, it's not.
But yeah, if you have an iPhone... this almost certainly won't happen because people are gonna...
If you have an iPhone, don't be a pedophile.
Well, yeah, don't be a pedophile ever. But just keep in mind that at any time in the near future, if they don't immediately back down from this horrifyingly bad idea, Apple might just have access to your photos to, like, a terrifying degree at any point in time.
It's very creepy.
Yeah, because... even a slight change in the algorithm or whatever of this AI that they're using, you can look for any pictures you want. Like, oh, did this person... Hey, Mabel.
Oh, that hurt. My love of my life.
At any point, they could just change it slightly so that, whoops, we're looking for people who are doing recreational drugs, and we're gonna leak that to whoever. Or now we're looking for information about politicians and paying someone.
That's gonna get dirty fast.
It's gonna get so dirty so fast. Also, if they have that accessibility through their phones, anyone who's able to hack into bullshit will be able to get that information too, because they do all the time. People's information leaks constantly from all sorts of cloud services, and if this has that sort of potential access, it's just bad. It's not going to end well. And I respect the intent, but there's another way.
Yeah, every day I get closer and closer to like just wanting to go into the mountains, build myself a rickety shack, and live there forever off berries and fish.
I mean, I respect it. I'd have to learn to eat fish, but I could get behind that in concept. All right, enough of that, but we've been talking for like 12 minutes. So, what are we actually talking about today, my love?
Today we are talking about Suicide Squad.
Quick synopsis of what happened in the movie. The Suicide Squad is gathered together again, like it has many a times.
Yes.
We get a nice glimpse at a new team, still led by Harley and what's his name, Rick Flag.
Yes.
And it's you get a fun, action-packed intro that ends in a lot of death and destruction, and from there on, the movie takes a back and forth, time hoppy sort of view of what's going on approach to the movie. It's disconnected, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Where each time that it does this, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. This is also happening. This is all that sort of thing. And the general plot is that there are multiple teams entering this country that's under some sort of revolutionary turmoil called, what was it, like Puerto Martis or something?
What was Court?
Puerto Martis?
I don't think it was Maltese.
No? Maybe that's just an actual place that sounded similar.
I don't remember.
Anyways, they head into this country that's having this turmoil to try and infiltrate and get back some sort of terribly powerful weapon, item, who knows what. They keep it very hush-hush for at least a good chunk of the movie.
Yeah.
And you realize there's multiple teams doing this infiltration, and the B team did not have a great entrance, unfortunately. No. But it's alright, we had another teammate, another set of team members going in, real hush-hush, everything goes well for them, and the rest of the movie is just them infiltrating this country, getting to the facility that is housing this horrifying weapon, and tearing shit up with some gratuitous violence, some wonderful action shots of people's heads and bodies being mutilated by men shark and exploding bullets and who knows what else.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, the characters have a wonderful, string of emotional moments that is genuinely took me by surprise. Like, we'll talk about this later, but there's a couple characters like Rat King 2. Rat Catcher 2, who's just, I mean, she's the one, right?
Yeah.
So that is the general gist of the movie. Obviously ends in a lovely action spectacle like always. James Gunn is a wonderful director and is exceptional at making these little group get together and fuck shit up sort of movies.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad and both of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are little ensemble team ups. They're very good, and he did a wonderful job again. The general feel of the movie was very comic booky, which obviously makes sense as a comic movie, but what I mean by that is that it never took anything too seriously. At any point there's just we're in the next chapter of this story, and they put up a name, right now we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And even though there are plenty of pretty intense moments, it's never we need to slow down and think about the ramifications of entering this country and they're killing a bunch of people. It's just the Suicide Squad, they're actual villains. This guy eats children. It's just fucking do it.
Yeah, stupid weasel guy.
Stupid fucking weasel, man. So that's the movie. It is 100% worth a watch.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna watch it again on HBO because I can and I want to.
It is on HBO, but I do recommend highly to go see it in theaters to, well, one, support your local theater.
Yeah, they're not doing great.
Also, just to see that action on the big screen, because it's pretty dope.
Hell yeah. But that being said, that was the least amount of spoilers we can possibly give you.
I know, I thought that was really good.
Thank you, baby. I tried real hard because I didn't write anything ahead of time this time, and I was just going off the dome, so I was figuring it out as I went. That being said, we have entered Spoiler Zone. So let's talk about the shit we really liked.
Yes, let's get into it.
Alright, so I don't want to the entire time compare this one to the Suicide Squad from a few years ago.
Yes, which is this is not a number 2. It's not a sequel. This is just a reboot.
Sort of. I don't. It's somewhere in the middle.
Because
where
it has the same exact title.
No, actually, the first one is Suicide Squad. This one is The Suicide Squad.
Oh, yes. Right.
But that being said, it's not exactly a sequel in that they never really bring up anything that happened in the first one, and nothing that happened matters. They don't bring up anything. They don't. You don't need to have watched it to get the point across. The only thing that you get from number 1 that implies is continuing the same story. It's just that the characters who were in the first one still have some sort of relationship with one another.
Yeah.
Rick Flag, Boomerang, Captain Boomerang, and Harley Quinn are all closer than the rest of the Suicide Squad members. They're more buddy-buddy. They're more, hey, I'm so happy to see you. We're going to do this again. Yay, whatever. Implying that the first movie did happen, but no one cares enough to talk about it.
Yeah.
Which is probably best, because then they didn't have to do the whole, what is a Suicide Squad? They're just like, you're part of the Suicide Squad. Do what I say, you're gonna die, and if you do it right, you get out of prison.
Yeah.
Like, they spent no time explaining the premise, which is, I think, the right choice.
I enjoyed it. I don't know, anything about the actual comics. So everything I know is from you, Ollie, or from the movies. And so I didn't know who a lot of these characters were. Obviously, we know who Harley is, and Flag was in the last one. I was familiar with King Shark, Big Shark Boy. And I think that was all. Oh, no, I'm familiar with Bloodsport. But I didn't know who Ratcatcher was.
Yeah.
And I didn't know there was a number 1 or a number 2. But I do like... Ratcatcher was probably my favorite. Because she was sleepy. She controlled rats. And her pet rat had a little backpack. And honestly, that's all. That's all I needed was a rat with a little backpack.
You mentioned it before, but on paper, she's just our friend Jenica.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Ratcatcher was really cool. And I was a little disappointed that the way she could control the rats was through this weird light-up microphone wandy thing. I was hoping that it was just like a weird ability where she could just communicate with the rats, but this does make more sense, I guess.
Yeah. Plus, it had more of a connection with the character's father,
Yeah.
which ended up being honestly pretty emotional, and I think a pretty successful backstory.
Yeah.
Because if there was any point in the movie where I was like, oh. It was kind of weepy. Not weepy, but kind of sad for the characters, I guess. It was her backstory where she's like, yeah, my dad loved me very much and was a very smart man, but he was horribly addicted to drugs. And we lived in the sewers and slept underneath a blanket of rats to keep warm and all this stuff. And that wasn't the sad part. The sad part was just when she was reminiscing about the good times with her dad, and just like loving of a father he was, but still clearly was doing an awful job.
He clearly needed help.
No, yeah. And there's this beautiful moment where he's talking to her and she's asking, like, why did you pick rats? Why are they the creature you wanted to control? And it's just like, I mean, these are worthless things that people hate. And if they have a purpose, I think that's a good sign for all of us. And I was like, that's so fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And then he gives his ability of, like, essentially hope in some weird way to his daughter. And that's very sweet.
Yeah. Idris Elba as Bloodsport is fantastic, I think.
He did a great job.
He's amazing. Oh, well, I mean, it is Idris Elba. He is pretty great just by himself.
Yeah, if the Hobbs and Shaw movie teaches us anything, is that even in a shitty movie, Idris Elba does a good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was real fun as Bloodsport and everything. But, and I will talk about this character separately in a moment, but the Bloodsport was best when he was hanging out with Peacemaker. Because, because they had this amazing chemistry, this, I'm gonna be better than you, you dumb fuck.
Yeah.
This competitive, angsty back and forth the entire time, and it was so good.
Yeah, like if events hadn't unrolled like they had, Peacemaker and Bloodsport would have been weirdly like really good friends.
Yeah, not like happy to see your friends, but like whenever they get together, whenever they see each other, they decide to do something outlandish to be like, all right, who's better this time? Who's improved? And that'd be fun. I'd watch that.
Yeah, like a relationship that is competitive, but like in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they are psychopaths, moderately healthy.
Yeah. John Cena plays Peacemaker, and it's so perfect. I don't know why, but every time he came on screen, it was just something about him that made Ollie and I just laugh. I don't know what it is about John Cena, or maybe it's just his character, but it's just every time we saw him in his tighty whities or in his full uniform, it didn't matter. It was just something about the way maybe John Cena holds himself, and it just was brilliant.
It really was. Also, he's full tidy whities in this at one point. He's got a donger.
He's got a donger.
Just strapped.
I hate this so much. I hate it.
But anyways, sorry about that. No, I think I want to... You're right. That was the thing. Every time he walked in to any scene, I was starting to like giggle a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because there's... Obviously, John Cena is not much of anything like his character. He's not a crazy, weird American man. But something about him does look very much like... Get me a Bud Light. Let's barbecue in the back.
Well,
I believe in America.
I think it doesn't help that he started out WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. So, you know, in his whole persona on that, his character was, you know, the Marine. Like, he was the army boy, the patriotic, like, America first sort of vibe. And he was in like movies when he started out making movies. His first two were about, you know, him being a Marine or in the army of some way somehow. And when he got out of that and started playing other parts, it just kind of stuck a little. Yeah,
Mr. America, cookie cutter, scout, Boy Scout kind of guy.
Yeah. I did read an article about him. They were interviewing him, and John Cena said that I can't give you a source. I have no idea. So, you know, to take this however you want. But he did an interview, and he explained that when he first started out in the movie business, he was awful. Like, he was really not good to work with, and he picked poorly scripts that he would be a part of. So like he knows that his movies in the beginning were not good.
Yeah, no, he did not have he did not have a selective eye.
No.
It seemed more like oh, you want me to be in your movie? Yeah, I'll be in your movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck not?
He mentioned that when he was in Trainwreck with Amy Schumer, that was the moment he realized he could be weird and like funny and not have to be like, I don't know,
Mr. Action Man.
Yeah, Mr. Action Man. And so he started picking movies that were just more fun to do. And I'm so glad he did that because Peacemaker is fabulous.
Fucking great. And like, unquestionably, the least likable character. But
yes, I don't think he means it in a bad way, even though it definitely comes off really gross.
Of course, yeah. But it's just like, oh god, everything about him is just like so difficult, but so funny.
Because he mentioned, he would he would kill man, woman, and child if it meant acquiring peace. And it's like, well, that's not very peaceful, Peacemaker.
Yeah. He's a real dum-dum.
Yeah.
But hey, he's willing to suck a whole beach of dicks to bring peace to America.
Yeah.
Which he 100% said in the movie.
That is what he said.
He suck a whole beach full.
And, not to rush ahead or anything, but, he, all of them are following, what's her name?
Amanda Waller.
I always want to just call her Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
They're, following her orders, and he thinks it's, peaceful. Like, if the news about their missions gets out to the actual American public, it will cause, many folks to be disgruntled, and, maybe even riot and all this stuff. So, like, he wants to keep it on the down low, keep it hush-hush so nobody knows. Like, he is trying to, like, keep things peaceful, but to an extent where it's, like...
gross.
Like, sometimes things need to get a little stirred around.
Yeah. The best way to
stir the pot sometimes.
The best way to make America great is to fucking destroy it and start over. Sometimes. Like...
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So we need to do that right now.
Yeah, because right now we're just building on a... never mind.
Yeah, let's not get into that. I mean, nobody wants to hear about America anymore. God. No. Nobody wants to hear about America anymore. Not even us.
But yeah, he is very good. I also love the fact that, like, he has a bomb in his head because that's just the MO of Amanda Waller and the Suicide Squad. But he would not need one. If he just came up and was like, hey, do you want to kill some people for your country? He would jump on it. He 100% did.
Yes. Which is strange to me that he became a supervillain and not just a I don't know, top paid colonel in the military or something.
Well, usually the top paid colonels try to pretend that they didn't murder children.
That's true. And he's just like...
I will, and I have.
Yeah. Man, it's such a good movie. And, obviously Margot Robbie is Harley. She will be Harley for the rest of her life. There isn't it's just like Robert Downey Jr. He is Iron Man. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of things in the medias lately that are like, there was a review on it that was like, anybody could have played Iron Man. And that's not true. That is in fact not true. Tom Cruise almost played Iron Man. And can you imagine that weasel playing Iron Man? I cannot imagine him playing Iron Man. It just, Robert Downey Jr. is hot. One, is a fox. And two, the best at being Iron Man. He just is Iron Man. He is Tony Stark.
There is... So,
Margot, same person. Mm-hmm. She is Harley Quinn.
Yeah, there is a select number of actors who embody a role so well that is a part of them, and it's not in like a crazy Jared Leto
Joker way. Like, it's not like in a weird, gross way. It's just like they are the character. They don't just become the character to act better. Mm-hmm. It just fits.
Yeah, because it's like they have an effect on the character when they portray that character in a way that reverberates. Like Harley Quinn came from the Batman animated series, but she was so goddamn good, and obviously great character, that they were like, no, yeah, let's add her to the comics. That's a fucking good one.
Yeah.
And with Margot Robbie's character, as she has portrayed her, more of the things that her character has done has come into the comics as well and into other animated formats because she did such an amazing portrayal that they're like, yeah, this version of her is more accurate.
Yeah.
Same with Tony Stark. He made it's Tony Stark. Same with
yeah, I know, right? It's because he's the same person.
Exactly.
It's like their personalities are so melded together that it's hard to see them as anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And which is
him
like,
more so than others. Too.
Yeah, which is like sometimes a bad thing because like, oh, when they play other movies, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But
unless they play a similar character, he was a pretty okay Sherlock Holmes because big douchebag.
He was a real great, sexy Sherlock Holmes. I'm sorry, I as the kids say these days, simp hard for Robert Downey Jr.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's wild. Like Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, Captain America. Honestly,
Marvel, I think more than any other studio has done this really well, and I think that just has to do with the fact that some of them have been playing the same character for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in terms of the ones that definitely did it the best, Captain America, Tony Stark, Thor, because the character in the movies, they changed him to be more
like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, they're like, make him more goofy.
Yeah. Another, which is so good. A great reference in Loki as well.
Wonderful.
So is there any, I know we're getting a little off subject, but is there any other actor or character that you think just mesh so well together they are the same person?
So again, this is another comic book one. I don't think they all have to be comic books. It's just,
It just happens that way.
it's just one. It just shows that I like. So, but in the Umbrella Academy, Klaus.
Yes, Robert Sheehan. Oh my god, I love him so much.
He did such a.
I don't know.
When I'm
so sorry.
I want you to know that when I go back through and edit this, and I hear that in my soul, I'm gonna get up.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. You had to know. You had to know.
I'm gonna kick your ass. You are awful.
No, Robert Sheehan is a great Klaus. He really does also embody him as well. He also plays in a European show on
BBC.
No, it's not BBC. It's Channel 4, I think.
4 Kids.
Anyway, that's not the point. We're in America. Nobody knows what that channel is here. So it's a really great TV series, and he plays a character named Nathan, who is basically just Klaus, but hornier.
No, Klaus, equally horny, but just less competent.
I guess.
At pretty much everything.
But Nathan can also see the dead. In some occasions. We're not talking about Misfits right now, or I will get way off subject. But yes, I agree. Robert Sheehan.
He did a really good job just filling that character with his stank.
Yeah. With his stink. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other people that aren't from comic books, but it's just like, I'm thinking of Wolverine now, and it's just...
No, Wolverine was the first. He was the first character
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine.
Like, they're coming out with another Wolverine movie that you mentioned, where the actor...
Eastwood's kid.
Yeah. And, like, don't be wrong, it'll probably be a good movie. People have, at this point, moderately understood the formula that creates a good comic book movie. It'll probably be okay. It's not going to be right. It's going to feel wrong no matter what, because we have a Wolverine. We know who Wolverine is. And to see someone else do that portrayal, it's going to be wild.
Holy crap. Sorry, I just realized Clint Eastwood has so many children. Bro. Anyway, sorry, Scott. His name is Scott Eastwood.
Scott Bakula.
Good God in heaven. But yeah, he's going to play the new Wolverine.
I'm extremely excited to see Scott Bakula play Wolverine.
Bakula.
Scott Bakula. You never seen Scott Bakula?
I have not. Scout Chocula. Count Chocula.
Count Chocula. I also don't like the way this guy looks. Not
Scott Chocula.
Scott
Clint Eastwood's kid, Scott Eastwood. Let's be fair. Clint Eastwood is really fracking weird, and not in a good way like Nicolas Cage. Okay, it's weird. I don't know anything about Scott Eastwood, his child, except for he's been in a few movies and I think is pretty average. He reminds me of Armie Hammer in a certain way, which, I mean, talk about tasty toes.
Scott Bakula.
Oh, Scott Bakula is a real person. I thought you were making a joke.
No, I just like his name.
Oh, brother. No, I had no idea who that was.
I don't even know what his character's name is.
I have no idea. He looks familiar.
He's an NCIS.
Oh, I don't know. I watched a lot of NCIS when I was younger. My grandma freaking loved NCIS.
Listen,
and SVU, and Ghost Whisperer.
The Alphabet Soup cop procedural shows.
Yeah.
I think they are just one universe. Like
they are.
All of them.
They've had crossovers before.
God, that's so.
They've had crossovers between like NCIS and Los Angeles or something, and like NCIS like Louisiana or some freaking other thing. I don't know.
You know what would be great?
There's also the CSIs.
Yeah. You know what would be amazing though if they had one of those crossover with something like Psych.
That would be really fun. Or how about this one? Psych and Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I mean, those mesh. Those right.
Mesh.
In my mind, they are in the same
Brooklyn
universe.
Nine-Nine, CSI Miami. I feel like...
Specifically Miami.
Yes, because I feel like Andy Samberg would be perfect for the sunglasses jokes thing. Wow! That thing, you know? If you haven't seen CSI Miami, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
You have no idea how badly I want to see just a weird tone meshed CSI Miami Brooklyn Nine-Nine mashup where every time they turn the camera to a character from a different show, just the tone and the writing and everything shifts so drastically.
Just CSI Miami in the tone of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And then Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the tone of CSI Miami.
Yes.
It would be horrifying.
It would be so scary. I'm sure Andy Samberg and the rest of them are great at being serious, but it would just...
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine that are genuinely like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that. We're talking about the Suicide Squad. The other characters are all quite enjoyable, to be honest. King Shark is probably the one that's least developed throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But that's just because, I mean, they had to give Sylvester Stallone something to do that was within his range.
Oh my god.
Which is not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, after Rambo in Rocky, he should have just stopped. Yeah. He did receive an injury filming Rocky.
I believe it.
That's partly why he is the way he is, because he actually boxed, and it hurt, especially once he started getting old. But yeah, King Shark was, I did love him very much. I was very sweet, very cute. I think, so you told me there's, obviously different versions of different characters all the time because of different writers and comics. So there is a version of a King Shark that is pretty normal guy, pretty sentient, pretty mature man, just in a shark body, yes, who bones Constantine. And God, I don't like to think about that. But this version of him in this Suicide Squad is a very dumb.
Yeah.
Very simple.
And it may be almost like childlike in that they only really do what they need or like want in a way. Like, I'm hungry, I want to eat. Yeah. I'm gonna go eat something. And that's usually a person. And that's fine. He's a shark. It happens.
He's a shark.
It's not his fault he has legs and lungs. But but he's very much just like, this is a thing that I think and feel right now. I'm gonna go act on it. Very childlike, immediate gratification sort of thing. And I think that's a good way to go with the character, because like, it can give you sympathy for them in that people treat him like a monster, even though he is just a shark doing shark things.
Yeah.
And like, that is horrifying when on land, but what you gonna do?
Yeah, like if they would have given him more of a, just a man trapped in a shark body sort of deal, it would have just come off as like, I don't know, just another villain.
Mm-hmm.
But this gives him more character, I think.
I agree. Also, his interaction with, honestly, all of them have wonderful interactions with what is clearly the heart of the team.
Mm-hmm.
The rat girl. Rat catcher. I always forget the second part of that name. The rat catcher, too. Because she's just such a button.
Yeah.
Like, just
she's
a
like
sweet...
a 22-year-old sweet girl who just wants to sleep and have her rat friends.
Mm-hmm. And King Shark 100% tries to eat her early on. And she wakes up and she's like, hey, it's okay. Want to be friends?
Yeah.
And then they move on. And she's...
Yeah. Emotionally very competent.
Extremely. For a child basically raised by a drug addict and rats, did a great job. And in terms of emotional intelligence, he even gets Idris Elba and John Cena to like her, even though that doesn't, really go anywhere for her.
Yeah.
But she does a very good job. And we didn't really talk about Polka Dot Man.
We didn't. He honestly, the heart and soul of that team.
I'm gonna stick with Ratcatcher too, but he's definitely a vital organ. He's the pancreas of the team. He's very good.
He's so good.
The actor portrayed uncomfortable so well.
You know how, 5 seconds ago, when we talked about actors who just are their character, that's what it felt like. He just is Polka Dot Man. Depressed. He wants to unalive himself, as the kids say these days. He is joined the Suicide Squad because it had suicide in the name. Like, he
was in.
He's in.
He was in from the word suicide. Anyway, but yeah, I've known of Polka Dot Man because he's always one of those villains that get brought up in, haha, can you believe these ridiculous villains exist? And yes, I can. There's another one called Condiment Man. Like, what the fuck do you want?
Condom Man.
Condiment Man. Sorry, no. Condiment King. Nerds, don't come at me. Condiment King, I know that.
Nerds, you like your condiments, don't come at me. Ketchup nerds, no.
But yeah, it's just what comics do. They get weird. So he's one of those that always get brought up in discussions of weird and kooky villains.
Yeah.
And I know a little bit about his character enough that I'm like, yeah, nothing about him is interesting, except for the stuff that's in this movie.
Yeah.
So to take a genuinely worthless character and turn him around and make them like I rooted for this man. I was hopeful for Polka Dot Man.
Oh yeah.
That's a good fucking job. That's a good script and good directing.
Polka Dot Man is such a sweet boy.
Yeah, that's all of the characters that really matter.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rick Flag and Harley are there. They're doing the thing they were doing last movie, except they're doing it better because it's a better director.
Yeah. Harley gets captured, and you immediately know she will kill the entire battalion and get out alive, and she does. She does.
Yeah, and she
is in this hole, kept prisoner, and she just yells at them, "I will murder you all." Yeah, and then she ends up being courted by the Presidente, and it works for a while, but then she just shoots him, straight up, right in front of him, shoots him, and she's like, I've learned that when a man starts showing me red flags and that he's a bad person, I just gotta kill him. I just gotta murder him. Not, break up. I gotta murder him.
Well, I mean, again, she mentioned it herself with her history. it's probably for the best. It's probably bettering the world.
Yeah. She did say the men that she likes, they don't go away easily. They stay around and they hurt people. So might as well just pop it off right now.
But that scene was, I think, really impressive because Harley Quinn's always been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of gal. Like that's her character's gimmick, right? But it always, like not always, but oftentimes, depending on the writing and whatnot, comes off as very, look at me, I'm quirky.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a good writer, it come off very lame.
Yeah.
But this scene was one of those scenes where it reminds you, no, she's genuinely insane in that she does not make logical leaps.
Yeah.
She does not go from point A to point B. She goes to point A to point Q and then to point 1.
Yeah.
Like she makes these connections that are wild and unfathomable. And this is one of them. This man I fell in love with him within a few hours because why not?
Yeah, and he was nice to me and had pretty birds.
And a big old dong, apparently.
Big old dong.
And then, oh no, he said something.
He said he was going to kill kids.
Okay. Immediate switch. Immediate transition. There's no temporary, there's no processing. It's just boop, boop, done. Yeah. And that was impressive where I'm like, oh no, he's crazy in the best way. And very few scenes with Harley make me feel like, remind me that she's crazy.
Yeah.
They just make me feel like they're just oftentimes come off as supposed to be kind of quirky. So I was genuinely impressed.
Yeah.
She also has one of the best / worst scenes in the whole movie. So just a quick rundown of the ending, I guess. So here's the final warning if you don't want to get spoiled for the final boss. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's Starro. Starro the Conqueror. Big starfish in space with an eye that controls people's brains with tiny little starfish babies.
Yeah, it's basically Alien.
Yeah, it's a face sucker. But Starro is a kaiju because that's just what his character can do. And they have to fight this thing, and it's from a person who's genuinely grossed out and terrified by ocean creatures. A horrific 20 minutes. Just horrifying to look at.
It's not that bad. It's just when he excretes his babies, then is yucky because it's slimy.
Everything looks slimy. It's so gross.
Starfish do not look slimy. They look scaly and bumpy and hard.
I mean, yes, but when his little tentacles... Anyways, that's not the point of this. The point is there's a final ending scene, essentially, where she just jumps javelin first into his giant eyeball and floats there as she's surrounded by
rats
who
are
eye
crawling into his eye.
Yeah.
Visceral. And they start eating, everything around.
They get
inside this starfish.
Yeah, they get into his giant blood vessels and just start going in.
And it is genuinely disgusting and disturbing because it looks so fleshy and so butthole-esque.
So
and
wet.
These rats are crawling inside of it, and it's just not a visual I ever wanted.
Yeah, but now we have it, and so do you.
And so do you.
But yeah, it's because there's that scene where she's just floating there, being surrounded by all this stuff. There's a beautiful menagerie of colors. She's inside this alien creature, and it is bright and vivid and wild, and to some extent, weirdly beautiful. Like she's just floating there, gravityless, experiencing this whole thing, and disgusting at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of my favorite. This is cool scenes.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, though, in terms of cinematography and whatever bullshit, is when Rick Flag is fighting with, spoiler once again, Peacemaker. He's a dickhead.
Yeah.
And they're fighting, and you see a chunk of the fight being filmed through the reflection of Peacemaker's shiny chrome head. That's laying
His
on
helmet,
helmet that's laying on the ground. And it's a very cool shot. And I was just a very big fan of it. It looked cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Instead of just like, showing the fight as it happens, they did it in a very creative and interesting way. A really new way that was, I don't know, made the scene better, It made it that much more interesting and impactful.
Hell yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. Any particular favorite scenes from you?
Anything with Polka Dot Boy. I also did like the very beginning scene where they jump off the carrier that they are flying in.
Yeah, the helicopter thing.
Into the water to get to the island, to do their flippin' mission. And at this point, they have a team member named Weasel. Yeah. Who really just is a human-sized weasel. Really disturbing and freaky. And I was interested to see what other things this creature would get up to. But he jumps off the carrier into the water with everybody else and cannot swim. And, they're radioing each other like, hey, did anybody check to see if the weasel could swim? And everybody at, home base, Viola Davis and all of her lackeys are like, whoops. We don't think the weasel can swim. And then he dies. So, supposedly.
Yeah.
That is the funniest opening scene I probably have seen in a while. And it doesn't sound like it would be that funny, but it was hilarious.
It was great. And just, honestly, the whole intro was a great start to the movie.
And anytime Harley has like a action montage is great.
Oh yeah. that's true.
It's just phenomenal.
I never expected Margot Robbie to be like so good at these big action spectacle fight scenes, because they are impressive. Like there was a lot of choreography involved, and obviously there was stunt doubles most likely, but there was a lot of scenes that were very close. They were
just her.
Very in her face. Very good job.
I mean, when she first came out as an actress, she was in like dramas, right? Like she was in Wolf of Wall Street or something with Leonardo DiCaprio, and she was a good actress, but she was, she was a female love interest, I'm pretty sure.
And now she's an action star.
Yeah. Now she just is Harley Quinn, which is awesome for her.
Yeah, no, that she's going to have roles for a long time. She's going to have movies for a while.
And it's not a boring role. It's a role where she gets to like fight and dress in cool outfits and be fun and creative and be with a bunch of people who are also, crazy and just having fun.
Oh yeah, Harley Quinn is a wonderful character to be portraying, because I feel like in any two movies she might be drastically different and still be in style. Like it'll still be very much a proper representation of her.
Yes.
Like the one in the first Suicide Squad and this one are two drastically different characters at this point, but they still feel like they're a part of the same one. Like they may have shifted, they may have changed a little bit, but it feels very natural.
Yeah. So, all in all, you don't need to go see the first Suicide Squad at all. You don't have to do that to yourself. But this one, the 2021 Suicide Squad, is chef's kiss, very good.
Phenomenal. James Gunn killed it, and you should all go watch.
Our neighbors are leaving right now, so there might be some rumbling in the background.
Which means we should probably get out of here. They know we think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I think you guys are wonderful, you big stonking nerds. Have a wonderful week.
I thought you were going to call them benches.
You big benches. Have a wonderful week.
We love you.
Bye.